pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call please. Councilwoman Bean Hardy. Councilwoman Bozak. Here. Councilman Loving. Councilwoman McCarr. Here. Councilwoman Scott.
Here. Approval of August 9th, 2023 executive meeting minutes. So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott. Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. Approval of August 9th, 2023 meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. Approval of August 17th, 2023 meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna public hearings, for resolution 2023. Do we need?
Wait for
It's 15 because the budget will be 15. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jen.
Do we wait a minute?
No, we have a warrant.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because.
No, right.
I
So the budget will be 15. We're just gonna
Right.
do the next meeting. So I'm not
Did you
gonna-
vote on it?
That'll be
I
16.
had a
so it's
question
for-
about, do we vote on them all separately?
Normally, historically, don't you just
We're
vote
going-
the budget as a whole?
Yes, the budget, this is a public hearing, so on the back of everybody's agenda is the budget that was advertised to the public. It was uploaded into Gateway, the state's website, as required by law 10 days before this meeting. It will talk about our, there are, again, it's on the back of everybody's agenda, so you give the public an opportunity to speak on for or be half, ask questions, whatever. Then you close the public meeting and next month, if you choose, we'll adopt the budget. You can't adopt the budget in the same meeting as in which you hold your public hearing. That's one of the state laws when it comes to adopting the budget. So this is just the public meeting portion of that, allowing people to hear about the budget, ask questions about it, understand it. So it was posted. It's been posted in Gateway, it's posted in Town Hall, and it's on the back of your agenda.
So we can.
Yeah, this process and procedure that we would allow, I feel comfortable in voting.
Right. You're not voting on the budget, you're just asking people if they are in favor of it or against it, or have opposition against it, have questions about it. That's what this process is. Okay?
All right, open a public hearing for resolution 2023-15, the 2024 budget. Anybody have anything? Or against?
Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns?
The budget is advertised above our tax levy. That is usually, in my opinion, good practice in case there's an error made. You don't lose that taxing possibility due to an error in any type of advertisement. Our town's net asset value is scheduled to go down by almost $49 million next year, which of course will decrease or increase our tax revenue, or I'm sorry, our tax rate, I think by almost 5 cents per hundred, which is a big jump. The state gave us a 4% increase, which is going to be about $91,000 additional to what we got in 2023. That's kind of the synopsis of it. Again, the budget is on the back. If there's any questions, I'll try and answer those. But that's the budget in a quick summary.
Close public hearing. All right, public hearing I need to open a public hearing for ordinance 2020 or 319/2023, amending text of chapter 16 concerning noise control ordinance and amending text of chapter 1 concerning motor vehicle traffic violation fees.
Anybody?
If people have questions, Jeremy and Clay might be able to talk about this. I know it was Jeremy that proposed some concerns he had about citations, and Clay drafted the ordinance, so they might be able to answer those questions.
Anybody have anything? Not for me, all right, then close public hearing.
And this one can be adopted on first reading if you would like at this meeting.
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 319-2023. Discussion. Roll call please.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. All right. Reports. Jane, do you have anything?
Jill, our new building clerk slash board secretary slash all around just about anything gal, started on Monday. Today was her second day, and she's still learning about internal controls and reading about what is a board of zoning appeals do and all those wonderful things, and filling out her new hire packet. But we're excited to have her, and hopefully she'll fit in and decide to stick around. She'll be working with Lori next week, starting to train, because she'll fill in for Lori when Lori's on vacation and has time off and stuff. So she'll start that training next week.
Council members, do you have anything? I do not at this time. Angel? All right, Clay, do you have anything?
With regards to the Oak Leaf Lane easement, their representative finally contacted me and had some questions regarding the legal description. I've kind of pushed that over to the engineer and to Sean, and spoke with him last week and understand that you're someone who Global is looking at that legal description question. Legally puts that. So we're moving the ball.
We have a tight leash on this person, we're not gonna lose our contact. We're gonna move on to a new job. and-
First, I've been contacting, just getting them to respond
Yeah.
for several months. Respond last month.
If Jeanette is on, just so you know, if there's anything you need from the town engineer at any point.
Oh, thank you. Eva, does she have anything for us?
Yes, I can add that the most recent CCMG project is, the contractor's complete. I know that, I submitted their, final invoices for that project. Hopefully, we haven't heard yet, or I haven't heard yet, about the next round of funding. So fingers crossed that, I think these projects are obviously really good for the town. So, hopefully we'll get the next one as well. And then I can, if need be, when it comes up on the agenda, I can comment on the updated asset management plan under new business.
Thank you. Chuck, do you have anything?
Yeah, I guess, two highlights from last month were Rough Luxury is up and running, their business. And we were finally able to issue a building permit after a long, very long process to CIT Trucks. That's Kenworth Truck Dealership on Milton Drive. The estimated cost of that is over $6 million. So that's gonna be a nice addition to the team. That's it.
I have a question. With these two homes that remain in despair and uncompleted, do you have any updates on them? What's going on with?
The one on Salt Creek Road, he's still working on it. I see him and then the one on Hagen, I heard from him today. And he's not moving very fast, but he's in the moving,
Yeah, and then what about the one on Fairchild?
I understand that's been sold to an investor, and that's all I know right now. The realtor has no information on that.
Okay.
So the builder is not around anymore, so there was a private investor who bought the home.
Okay,
We'll see what happens, I'm keeping an eye on that. They seem to be keeping the lawn mowed, so
that's good.
that's a good sign.
Yes,
Are we allowed to contact them to find out what their intentions are with this
I'm
home?
sorry,
Are we allowed to contact them to find out what their intentions are, like what they plan on doing with this
I'll
home?
see if I can get a hold of it
Okay,
and see if I can get a timeline construction on that, it'd be nice to get that going,
yeah,
of course.
yeah. Thank you. Alright, Brandon. Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let's see, well, I got an update on the building department, ice and water damage. You guys wanna know how long it's taking scheduling on that? It's gonna take about a day to remediate. Fill the gravel back up, sand, prime, and then, painting will be done in the future, because I think they want the building department painted on the inside. Also, we're gonna wait to close it up until we hear about new lighting the building department wants to put in. As opposed, it's just easy access to the attic up there. I got one quote, I'm gonna try to get another quote. If we provide the lighting, because we'll get it at our cost, and just bring the cost down from what the company would do, and that's Great Lakes LTD here in town. Let's see. Part-time employee. As far as I know, we've had one that was sent to your email, Jane, and that was it. And I think we've only posted in our website and social media. So I don't know if it'd be a good idea to post on Indeed. You know, we got a lot of weird ones out there, but it might help, but we pick up programs gonna be coming up here kind of soon. I was thinking about beginning Tuesday, October 24th, to get a head start before Halloween. Because I know last year we did that as there was leaves falling and it helped with the kids walking and everybody appreciated that in town. And that'll probably go till December 5th, depending on how many leaves are still in the trees. So I'll talk to Karen about posting on the website. Let's see. When I talk about Mike Luciardo and a possible pay raise on his 1-year anniversary, it's now time for that.
Yep.
I was thinking about presenting a pay raise to 21 an hour. He's currently at 19. He's been here a year. There's 2 of us. We're kind of manning the whole town, you know, so he's gotten a lot better. He's doing good. He's starting to take on extra responsibilities. I think it's well deserved. That'll still keep him in labor 1 area, but yeah, just with the workload we got between the 2 of us. Let's see. I haven't gotten any new salt shed quotes yet, as Jane had asked me to look into. It's doing what it does right now for this winter, so we're just gonna keep going with it. I don't know if there's anything to do with it until MS4 has just come up, if that ever does. So we're just kind of holding out on that, I think. And then cleaning services, me and Tony had talked about cleaning services, hiring people hourly as Burns Harbor employees. I haven't heard very much from her yet about that. We got a whole meeting and talk about that, but that's as far as I'm at about cleaning services. I think everybody wants it, needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it for me right now.
So he can put, he doesn't need our permission to post it on Indeed, like the.
No, Corinne can help you with that, just let her know.
I just think
We were
just
told
one.
initially not to post it there, we were just gonna do it locally. So just let her know, she
Yeah,
really.
I think it's surprised me they had one, you know, but
Yeah.
I like to have a little bit of.
Choice.
Yeah,
And then, I guess for Mike, me too.
Mike's anniversary date, I think,
September 29th.
I was gonna say, I think it's the 29th.
Looking at,
So so payroll The payroll be just before his anniversary date, it ends on the 26th, so the
Yeah.
27th would be the start. Not that you can't do it on the 29th if you choose. For payroll purposes, sometimes it's easier to start when the payroll starts, so if you want to give him a raise, if you would be comfortable giving it to him 2 days before his anniversary. Would make it simpler, but we will make it work if that's what you wanna do, no matter what you want to do.
Either way, I mean, he'd be excited that, you know, it's coming, but that's.
Certainly, it's, if you want it to be on his anniversary or the day after, whenever, I'm just saying. Sometimes it's easier for us when we're processing payroll for it to start and stop on a specific payroll period, but we'll make it work no matter what you want
And
to do.
that pay raise as well from the budget too. For this
Okay.
year and next year, it's already been locked in.
And that's still, you said that still keeps them at labor one.
Yeah, still keeps them out labor one.
Only catch up.
Slow rider. All right.
Andy, do you have anything?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the raise for Mike. $21 an hour, effective on 9/27. Second, discussion. Roll call please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman McClure.
Yes. Good.
Any questions? No questions?
I don't
Is that a good word?
I'm just.
Are you
Yeah.
good? Everything's
Yeah, I
good?
think, yeah, winter's coming, you know, but we'll go with that.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
You get your plow guys
Yeah.
temporarily
Yeah,
lined
getting
up,
all the fall, winter equipment and all that.
At least
things are
you're-
fixed,
okay.
You know, so.
get your list of guys that want to plow going, how's that list coming? I mean, I know you're not getting the guys that are like, yeah, I'm available on
Yeah.
this Tuesday,
I talked to
but you
them.
have like a list of phone
Yeah,
numbers.
and list of phone numbers and call companies, one of the companies.
Okay.
Yep.
Jeremy.
A lot of stuff you guys already know, but last month in August, Detective Wayne James resigned August 9th. We started a hiring process, which was opened and closed already. We have a couple candidates that we interviewed yesterday. We're moving forward with one of them to begin background and stuff like that, and hopefully whatever the next meeting we have, hopefully we'll have a recommendation if everything works out. Michelle began working full-time in the full-time clerk position on August 30th. I still gotta adjust the hours, but our department's now back to normal hours, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. Evaluations were completed for all of our full-time employees this past month, and we also had a department meeting on August 23rd. Other than that, most stuff was pretty much just month-to-month stuff. Nothing huge going on. That's it.
Bill, it's your report.
Don't have nothing out of ordinary, the ambulance, as you know, was shut down as of yesterday. I would like to ask the board, direction on what they want to do with the ambulance, only because I've had, since they heard we're shutting down, a plethora of, hey, are you guys selling an ambulance? What are you doing? And I said, I will ask my board, so.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of people with the demand of delayed vehicles, how long it takes, it's a very good rig still. I had a meeting today with Northwest Health. They have expressed interest in it as well. And I said, I'll have to talk to my board if they want to do like a closed bid type thing, obviously that's up to the council. Or how we need to do that, so. Obviously, some of the equipment we use to continue on BLS status, but as far as the ambulance itself, I have, I mean, all the way from Griffith, Indiana to what's it, it's Reckner ambulance, Worth County. Have called and asked about it, so I guess opportunities happen for the council. Or you guys want us to act on that?
To be,
I don't know, I haven't really thought about it.
yeah, How do we go about that? Like, can we just do like a closed bid thing or?
Yeah, when we've sold equipment in the past, we just put it in a paper or advertise it that we have it available for sale and we take sealed bids until the time of the meeting. Clay typically opens them at a public meeting and
Okay.
you guys can choose to award them to somebody or choose to not award it at all depending on the bids.
Can we,
And if it's sold to another municipality, doesn't there have to be resolutions?
I don't know if that's required with a sealed bid process, but I can look into that and ask questions about that.
Because if it's a private, definitely not if it's like private like Northwest Health. but I'm
Sure.
Just recalling the time what was it? Railroad Township down in Stark County, the fire truck we sold, but that obviously wasn't a sealed bid, but yeah, that's if you want to do that, do you have any idea what the value of?
well, that was one of my next questions, Jane, is there any rules against, can we put, I guess, like an auction, you have a starting bid, can you put that?
You can put a minimum amount.
You can, and sometimes that is helpful and sometimes that comes back to get no bids at all. But as Clay will tell you, if you get 20 bids and none of them are high enough, you don't feel they're high enough. You can refuse them all. You don't have to sell it.
Maybe it's better. Because I have done some research before the meeting on that. And right now for that year, keep in mind this one has a lot of the bells and whistles when they bought it with safety features and stuff on it. But they're 50 to 75,000 is the average range for that year. And I've seen some all the way up to 100,000, but those were like the bigger heavy duty truckload type. So I just think that right now with the demand and the weight in the community. So I think maybe the way, if we can refuse that and we have that number in our head, what we like to see out of it, maybe that's the way to do it.
Is there any value in keeping it and using it in your day-to-day fire response activity?
No, the way it's set up, we looked at that even for our dive equipment and stuff, but the way the compartmentry and stuff set up, there's nowhere to like mount our dive equipment. It's an ambulance. So, and the other thing is, we would have to spend more money on probably re-graphicing it because it's marked ALS ambulance and all that fun stuff on it. We would probably spend more money trying to do that, so where people are not confused of an ambulance pulling up on scene, and that's what my fear is. I don't want that confusion, so.
Jane, if we sell the ambulance, can the money that we get from the ambulance, okay, you already know where I'm
When
going.
you sell a town asset, the fund that paid for it is the fund that gets reimbursed the sale price of that asset. That's stable.
That's what I just figured I asked.
So what fund purchased was it?
You caught me out, catching me off guard. If it wasn't the CCD fund, it could have even been the RDC fund, but I have that information and I can get that for you. And share that with everybody, and I can ask about the, if we have sealed bids and a bidder as a local community or another government agency, if we have to have a matching resolution, I can look into that as well.
Yeah, I can as well, but with more I think about it, if it's the advertised seal bid, I don't believe we would have to.
I would say no, but I also am not, it's government, it could be that we have too many. I'll find out, I can certainly look into it if you'd like.
So.
Do you have the list of all the delinquent accounts for us?
I requested that from our loan company, Heather has not gotten that to me yet, so.
Okay, can you please re-request it, because we're trying to carve out our scheduled time to chase that money. Thank you.
So can we go ahead and advertise?
If you'd like, I can do that. I'll need like information about the vehicle, its odometer, stuff like that. Bill
Can you work
can
with Jane?
probably tell me all of that. So we'll get it set up. You want it set up so that sealed bids would be opened at the next meeting then?
I think that's a good idea. I mean, a month.
What month are we in?
Anything else? Sanitation.
Sanitation is, we're still just, the only thing that we got going really is. Been doing some, inconsistencies with, the plant and us, so we're just doing some data stuff there. I don't really think it's our end, I think it's their end. So we've just been doing a lot of research with that, we've been in and out of that plant a lot. For that reason, but other than that, continuing to try to get lift station 2 repaired as parts come in. Because of just, again, it's amazing how much stuff is slow coming in. But other than that, it's something that we got going with the sanitation department.
Alright, Harper.
Hi, the beach is now closed for the season, which is so sad. We are getting ready for the Fall Fest, which will be happening on October 28th, 5:30 to 8:30. The trunk or treat will be 5:30 to 7. So if anybody would like to volunteer, please contact the director. Also, we just recently had our town picnic, and we would like to thank the police department. Their presence was seen, and it was wonderful. And also, I would like to thank the board for helping out with the fountain and our basketball backboard. So thank you very much. And that's it.
No, I guess we gotta do that this year.
No, we decided not to, we're trying to go a different avenue. Last year, we actually took, quite a bit of a beating on it because of the food cost and everything. Other than our, donations, so we're trying to do a different fundraiser. Just because it was not at all a good fundraiser for us at all. In fact, without the donations to the, directly to the gifts and the children, we would not have been able to do this. Unless you guys really want us to do it, we
I
can
mean,
try
can
to
you
just.
just make us dinner and we'll just come to the fire station and eat it one night?
You have, believe it or not, several people that have called in and inquired about it. It's just. The funding's not there. I mean, honestly, the spaghetti sauce. Literally doubled in price, and we're already not making. Much. Out of this one, I mean, our average cost after everything was $1,000, and then some donations and gifts towards the kids was helpful to make it nicer. But as far as actual profit from the event.
No.
You thought about something else you could add, like the Fall Fest, like at the Fall Fest, like dump tape. People might pay good money to dump you.
Yeah, but
I can make arrangements for that tank. I can tap it out.
we have been throwing some other ideas around.
Dunking the department heads.
Oh. Going broke.
So we heard that the departments were making good, and maybe the spaghetti dinner could come back, and maybe things will equal out, or we could figure some out. When some guys threw by Couch does a pork chop dinner, some guys said maybe we could do like Nelson's or a fish fry, but we just didn't have time to really do that. So, yeah, it's not that we're done with the community events, we want that because it's great PR and great, it's just, what can we do that is gonna at least make it where it's beneficial for them? Because essentially, as you guys know, that profit is used for our shop with the firefighter at Christmas. And we have usually a few that give us very good donations to buy gifts and food baskets. So that's what helped us survive last year. So we are still doing that. So we'll be trying to do donations and stuff for that out of this fund and anything else. But what we are trying this year is a golf outing. You guys have probably seen it. We heard that they work. I will tell you that our registration, probably since our first one, is very low. And of course, now it's gonna rain on that day.
Oh, no.
So, I don't know.
I mean, if there's something, I mean, I know, a dunk tank or, that's not gonna bring in the same kind of money that, you're used to be, but if it's something. And we're already having people at the Fall Fest, which is, really awesomely attended, you know, might be something worth talking to him about if there's.
Yeah, you know, we're planning on Kim reached out to me and asked about the bonfire and also about the trunk or treat, and I said we would have a unit there. So
Yeah.
so we'll do that, so yeah, most certainly, I mean, there's something that we can do.
Yeah, I mean, just like a small, you know, a small little side thing that, you know, doesn't make people feel obligated,
Right.
there they have to do, but just, you know, something else to add to the fun.
Thank you.
Let us know.
We will figure it, yeah, I definitely want to do something else.
Yes, we're not having spaghetti one night. Do you have an idea?
But I'm just trying to figure out why you guys are keen on dunking us on October 28th. I mean, we have other community events throughout the year that aren't October 28th. I mean, I get that the water can be warm, but you have to come out of it at some point.
We got ice.
So we're clear, like,
We did done thinking, yes, we made like a lot of money. I was doing a lot of money.
like, you do wanna dump people. It's fun, the kid, you know, the kids, and you know, it doesn't have to just be two of you in the duck.
Cooper did spend a lot of money dunking Torok at the.
You gotta find like your like superstar
Yeah.
person in the community that so many people are gonna wanna come out and try to dunk.
I feel like
I
a lot
won't
of
name
people
names
know
because we're
though.
in public meeting. Huh?
October, we put dry season.
Something.
Alright,
Thank you.
so we went off on a tangent.
Sorry. Sorry. I have a bad habit of going off on something that doesn't have much to do with it, sorry.
Alright, REC.
Oh, it's back to me, alright, and I actually have things.
Yes.
Okay, so, you know, we have this BP invoice. That's lingering over us, so, you know, we're in contract with BP to pay X amount of dollars, I don't have the dollar amount in front of me, so I'm just going to use X amount of dollars, if anybody wants that actual number. I'm sure Jane has it.
I actually have it written down here.
You tell me something.
566.
Here it is, okay, so there's an overage of $208,761 they're wanting us to spend or pay.
So that's what BP is wanting us to pay, and the contract that we have with them states that we were only going to pay.
229.
229, 566.
Yeah.
But, so with the overage, so at the RDC meeting today, we discussed what we would recommend that the town, do about that invoice at this point, because it is the town's name that's on the contract, not the RDC's name. And the RDC would like to recommend that Clay go to the next higher up person at BP, other than the person that we've been talking to at this point, and, go from there and see what else we can figure out. We don't wanna pay that overage yet. I don't, ever, I'm just kidding, I don't know.
I don't want to pay it all.
So that's, I don't know if we have to vote on asking Clay to do that, if anybody has any objections to that.
Clay, would you like us to direct you to do that in a motion, or are you okay with just being directed?
I'm fine, if that's a consensus, I just need to, and I know Tina's left already, but I'll just reach out to her and have her give me, I guess it's Keith's contact information, so you can direct. me
Yes.
to-
I think I can probably do that.
Or you have, yeah, you wanna forward that to me?
Yep. Thank you, Mike. No objections for the intervention? Alright. Alright, good. That's all I had for RDC down.
Joan's not here for shared ethics.
Just a reminder to everybody, we are a member of the Shared Ethics Commission. And their summit is October 24th. Their Shared Ethics Summit is on October 24th. So any of our employees that would like to attend that, there's at no cost to us since we're members. But you need to RSVP by October 13th. So typically they feed you breakfast, they have speakers, they do case studies about, you know, ethical behavior. And it's usually very good turnout. So if anybody's interested in RSVPing or any more information about that, let me know and I'm forwarded on.
Thank you. All right, correspondence. Sorry,
Oh, you're looking at me.
Item notice of public comment for Olinda Cement Incorporated Contractor of Cleveland Cliffs Steel LLC. Item notice of approval Title 5. Not very good. Administrative amendment for Phoenix Global Contractor of Cleveland Cliffs LLC. Item notice of public comment for Urschel Laboratories Incorporated in Porter County. Item notice of approval Title 5 minor source modification for Powder Processing Technology LLC in Valparaiso. Indiana Department of Natural Resources required floodplain administrator training by June 30th, 2025. Okay. Resolution,
Resolution 2023-16 at Burns Harbor Appropriations Transfer be it hereby resolved by the town council of the town of Burns Harbor, Porter County, Indiana, the following transfer funds be made within the Marshals Department 2023 budget. $2,152.80 from corporal wages 2-119 and other supplies 2-443. Motion to adopt.
Can we do that?
can we,
Can we do that right now?
You're just transferring money and I asked Clay.
Sorry, can we do that right
Get the administrative,
He's being compensated, I'm just transferring funds.
now? Just double checking. Stephanie,
discussion? Roll call. Please.
Councilwoman Scott.
yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. Do you need to read it, print this? It says abstain.
Yes, I'm going to have to reprint that.
Okay.
Larry.
I
Have it.
won't have you sign it then, so, no, that's okay.
I'll have it ready for next time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was being proactive. That's what I get.
You, and I was paying attention. New business. Staff anniversaries, John Carnahan and Mike Gusciardo are coming up on their 1 year of service. Thank you. Updated assessment management plan. Is Jeanette still on?
Yes.
I am. My comment is that we received an email from Corinne saying that the asset management plan would need to be I think submitted by, don't quote me on this, but I think it was December 1st. And so she had asked us to prepare a task order for your approval. And Shem stated that he would have that task order for you for your October meeting.
Does Shem think that the project would be done in time for us to submit it by the December 1st deadline?
I believe so. Yeah, I do believe so. He didn't indicate otherwise to me. I could have him follow up with an email just to clarify that though.
So as Corinne's email said that we have to submit it by December 1st to the state, or we would not qualify for CCMG grants for 2024. So this is a task that they've done in the past for us. They rate our streets and then submit it to the state so that when we ask for grants in certain streets, that it's good to go.
Do we,
Well, nothing I get else needs to be done.
okay. Thank you, Jeanette.
Sure.
Approval of August 2023 financial report. So moved. Second, discussion. Roll call. Oops.
Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. You're throwing us off, Nick walked in. No, I got that.
Apologies for my tardiness.
That's okay, that's okay. Approval to pay vouchers with 3 or more signatures.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call please.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr.
Abstain. Approval of purchase orders submitted with 3 or more signatures. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilman McCarr.
Abstain. All right, old business. The iWork maintenance software invoice, Clay looked into it.
Yeah, I sent an email to all of you yesterday, meaning it's a signed agreement, I don't see where it was ever discussed or approved beforehand, maybe I was looking at the wrong meeting minutes, but I don't think that it was. Jane shaking her head no, so I don't think it was ever anything that this board or body knew about, but nevertheless, it was signed by a department head, and just. You know, and I said in the email, I would have pointed out, you know, let's not agree to the jurisdiction of a state, you know, 10 states away, or an auto renewal contract. So I don't know if this was, had you seen this before, Jane? This contract?
Not until the vendor contacted us and asked us to please pay the previous 2 years, well, last year's and this year's invoices. I think I'm putting it you only because it came from your department. I don't know that it came from you. Came from the street department. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the vendor. I think the vendor forwarded us when we asked more questions about it, that this was the signed contract they had. They forwarded to us. And that was what we forwarded on to you guys to speak about and see if there was, you know.
So did we pay for the first year back in?
We did, so the council gave permission for the department to purchase the software use. And then each of, I think it was 4 departments, like subdivided that cost, that 2,500 to split the cost, the street department, I think fire, police, sanitation maybe. And then when the year contract, well, I'm using the word contract and I shouldn't have, because I don't think anybody was aware there was a contract on the board. When the year term expired, the council decided from the advice of the departments that they didn't feel that the software was worth its cost and chose to not renew it.
But we weren't.
We thought it was a done deal and now we're finding out there was this auto renewed contract and they're asking for payment. 2 years later, I should say, or a year and a half later, kind of.
I mean, so we could not pay anything and they could sue us and go through the whole process and get a judgment and then garnish the town's bank account for the 5,000 plus cost.
Will they settle with us with like a lower settlement?
I think, I don't know, Jane's communicated with them, and I think that right now they're saying they've got their hand out for $5,000.
I have not, tried to negotiate anything. I've done nothing other than say, we're not aware that we owed this. And they forwarded on this information, which I forwarded on to you. I did not open up any other line of discussion with them after that without direction from you guys. So if you'd like me to talk to them first, see if I could do something, or if Clay, you would prefer Clay to reach out to them first. I'm willing to attempt to negotiate a prorated thing or something, but I don't know if I have the same weight as Clay might, but whatever you'd like us to do.
Clay, you've reviewed it, it's all valid.
From their end, yeah,
I'll make a motion to pay it.
the full amount of 5,000.
Yeah, the full amount.
Do we know, like, is it completely, or canceled now, like?
No.
It has to be terminated, it's, you have to give them 60 days written notice, but it was in May, so
Right.
basically. We would, and that's why I said, is there any value in using this, and I understand everyone said there wasn't, but. We're paying the second 2,500 for this program or service through May of 2024, so we've got another 8 months.
Or we need to get them on,
We need to get them something in writing.
right,
To say we're terminating this, so it doesn't renew again for
exactly.
other.
Okay. Who would, can you send them?
Sure, I can try and make something happen, yes. I just didn't want to start anything without just direction from you guys. So if Nick's motion was to pay the 5,000, if you'd like me to also send a cancellation notice, written notice, okay. And then we don't have a second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Is there any reason, sorry, is there any reason to look at it? Like, I know Brandon, I don't know if you've seen, like, I mean, I know we're not going to use it, but is there anything like looking wise, oh, this might be good to set up a spreadsheet in this manner for us, or just. I don't know what you would find on their website or anything, but if we
I
have
think-
it, do we wanna look at it?
I think the issue is we're gonna spend a lot of time entering data into a format that suits their system to get it back in a format that we can't do anything with,
I
so.
just didn't know if there was any like other information tied to that website, tips on this and.
I think we've kind of figured out that we can do everything on an Excel sheet and manage it that way. For
Okay.
zero cost. The only other thing I'd add is that the money had already, prior to Brandon taking over, we had already appropriated that money into the proper account for the street department and set that money aside. If it was necessary for us to have to pay that, so,
5,000.
yes,
Oh,
so just so we're clear, it is in the budget.
But it was, that was my raise, sorry.
let's be money. Oh, roll call, please.
Councilman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes, please.
Real quick, if I could, just let this serve as a reminder, department heads, please feel free to approach us and talk about these things before we sign them.
Absolutely, and when you don't sign a
And
contract.
don't sign anything until the
Without
license is-
informing the council, and
Uh-huh.
letting me at least review it, because this is a 5 or 6 page document, the two things that I always look for is audit. You know, the biggest red flag is the auto renewal. And the jurisdiction or venue somewhere other than Porter County, Indiana.
Yeah, it was like Utah or something.
Yeah, Utah.
Oh,
The only thing I was gonna add is that Jeanette had sent a message that said, Shem said that they can get the updated asset management plan done by a deadline. Just so you're clear from previous.
thank you. All right, the sanitary board, draft ordinance, Clay sent out. Do we need to do anything with here, or we need to review it at the sanitary?
I think if you
board
have any initial thoughts, but I think it needs to. Officially begin at the sanitary board, they
Okay.
have to make that recommendation. So. My, I guess, thought process is sanitary board does that. The, sends it to the council. Well, then they have to have their, so that's at the September sanitary meeting. The October sanitary meeting, when they have their public meeting. And then it can go to the council, hopefully for adoption by the end of the year.
Okay.
And then the new year starts off with the appointments with, I guess, essentially the. And I know we've had a vacancy, but by virtue of state statute and eventually town code, town council president is the chair of the sanitary board. And you've got those two appointments.
Pre-employment background check policy.
Well, Jeremy and I have had a lot of conversations about this, and we used one recently with Jill. We didn't have a drafted template. But we went through the steps of making sure the background check was, reference checks were done and all of those things. And Jeremy's going to be doing one here soon. He hopes to hire his new full-timer. We're hoping to have some type of draft template so that we can mark off, yes, we did it, and this is the person that did it, so that we have a trail or a tracking mechanism so that nothing gets dropped, then falls through the cracks. You know, we want to make sure we're sending for drug screens or physicals. We're making sure that references are checked and back work history is checked and those kind of things. And in some cases, criminal background checks are done. I think we've talked about that Jeremy's department would do the criminal checks. It makes sense that the department's doing the hiring might do some of the reference checks and types of things. So it's gonna be a communications thing and multiple people be involved, but with that document where people are checking off, then people know who did what and when, and make sure everything gets done before we hire somebody. We make sure everything was checked. I think we've got a good plan. We just need to put pencil to paper to make that form.
Okay.
And so the question is, would the council want to see that form? Are you that interested? Do you want this item to stay on the agenda? Are you interested in just having it drop off the agenda? What are your thoughts on that as well?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Jeremy has 2 cents too.
The only thing I would add to it is that I think just like a couple other forms, as we implement it, we're gonna see that a couple things need tweaked. So if you do want to see it, know that I kind of feel like it's gonna be subject to change. Something that might work well for me, Bill might be like, hey, I need this other thing added, or these steps don't apply to my people. So there might be some tweaks that have to happen along the way. So if we do offer you a draft, know that it may still be subject to change, I think, because I think even a conditional employment offer like we looked at earlier, we ended up making some tweaks for my department so that it worked. It was a cleaner process for the town.
Yeah. And it's a good document for references and that type of thing, to put in a personnel file and just for reference in the future.
I don't think we need to see the record. You
Okay.
guys are good. Yeah. If it's something you guys all can find to work with together.
Happy to look and share opinions if you need, but.
Okay.
I think it's just gonna be a checklist too.
Yeah.
Went for drug screen, yes, that came back,
Right.
Yeah.
Went for their driver's background, check their driver's license check, yes, it got done, it got done by, Tim or Jeremy or Michelle or whoever it was. It's gonna be just making sure we're doing everything we need to do.
Checks and balances.
Sounds good.
Okay, and so we're done with this matter on the
I think
agenda,
so.
Nick?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, go to the order.
Actually, I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
At the last meeting, you asked that we hold off on applications. I have a couple of volunteers that I'm wanting to process. Do we have a new application?
I've been we have a new town employee application. And when I spoke to the HR company initially, they looked at ours and said, oh, it should be 1. Remember, I probably reported on that. So I emailed her today actually and said, so what is, how can we combine that so that you get your information you need for your volunteers and we still get what we need for employees? She goes, I don't think they should be combined. I'll call you Friday. I'm like, so.
Should I just start using the town one and just?
Will it
do a supplemental?
will it meet your needs for your firefighters for now?
The only things I have to have is the ones that involve my state certifications. I have to know if those exist, so I could do a supplemental.
Okay.
And use that with the supplemental, if that works.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with her Friday on the more and,
Okay.
I'll
just do
let you-
that.
I'll let you know what
I
I
gotta
find out.
shuffle that into the process.
okay.
All right.
Good order.
One thing I forgot to mention, sorry, during my RDC report was that if any of you are interested in kayaking, there's a lot of stuff happening on the river, a lot of clearing happening on the river. It's really awesome. We had Rob, and his last name is escaping me at the moment, who runs the Northwest Indiana Paddle Association here, to talk about some of the cool things that they're doing. He said you can now paddle from 149 to Howe Road, all that should be clear by next week.
I have to confess, during the meeting, I was on the paddlers.
Cool.
And checking it out.
Right out there. But it's, something really cool for Burns Harbor. He said that I mean, he could have been schmoozing, but Burns Harbor is the nicest place to be on the water to go through, just the way that you go through nature
So
here.
next week. we'll have that quick.
That's what they're saying.
I have to run that.
Yes,
They're all running.
yeah.
And that says.
And then he said that like the Salt Creek to Prax Air Dam should be done by October. So, yeah, lots going on there. Okay, sorry. you can go ahead.
Okay.
Your turn.
I'm excited about the kayaking.
Right.
So I know we talked about this last month, but I don't think we ever did anything on it and I never saw any updates on it. So I make a motion that we remove the interim tag from Brandon and make him the full-time general maintenance superintendent and then adjust salary to be a department head salary. Effective, when is the?
It started today.
Okay, effective tomorrow morning, please.
Do we know if he wants it?
Sure, yeah.
Yes, you just like staring at it.
No, yes, no, I think it does. No, it's fine, I've seen enough.
You have to sign a renewal contract. And like.
I'll,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we have to do this discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yeah.
Now you're going to the double take, buddy.
That was in the contract, you should have had the term. Alright. Anybody else have anything? Alright.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion, roll call, please.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak. Yes. Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. Yeah. It's under an hour.